Hello, and welcome to this video of the first game I plan to release for iOS and Android. It's called Blobtastic. Before I begin, I just want to throw out that I'm putting this video out part of the reason for as much feedback as I can get, especially from other game developers. I'm going to be putting this on like the Unity game forums because it's built in the Unity game engine. But really, one of the big things I want to know about is publishing for iOS and Android. Basically, the best ways to go about it. I'll be leaving a link to my website and email address. But again, any kind of feedback at all, just please tell me. I want to hear it. So let's just jump in. Alright, so the basic concept for this game, story-wise, is you're this little blob that was a science experiment, and you're in this secret volcano lab, and you escaped. So the scientists are now going to go to any means to destroy you. And you might be noticing the kind of magenta or pink curves or lines. This isn't actually part of the game, it's just the recording software I'm using. It's just telling me exactly where I'm swiping and tapping and touching. I'm showing this because in a nutshell, this game is a 2D platformer on a mobile device with precision controls. Because most games I see on mobile devices that are action-oriented, they usually have the controls are either usually too dumbed down to the point of just like one-touch controls. There are some fun games with just one-tap controls. Otherwise, they try to use stuff like digital buttons and digital D-pads and virtual sticks, and they just feel too imprecise and doesn't have like a tactical feel that I like. So basically, I try to have a unique system where the blob basically goes wherever I tell it to. There's three different kind of movements you can do. So you can swipe in any direction, and the blob's going to jump in that direction. So if I jump up, the blob's going to jump up. I jump to the right, the blob's going to jump there. The longer I do a jump, the farther that blob's going to jump. And as you can see, you can stick to just about any surface. And then if I tap, he'll stick out his little arm, and basically I can grapple onto surfaces depending on where I tap. Then I can use that in combination to get to a lot of different places. The other thing I can do is if I hold down two fingers, I can actually do more than two, but two is really all you need. You'll change into the stone form. And basically what stone form does is it immediately drops you down, which adds a lot more mobility than you might initially think. The other thing it does is it makes you invincible to just about everything in the game except for this lava down here. Alright, and so I also tried to color code the game quite a bit. So any of these orange surfaces you see throughout the levels is generally the main surfaces that you can just freely grapple onto and stick to. And then, the background's generally kind of white, grays, and blacks. And then blue is generally ice, and you're just going to slide around on the ice, and you can actually grapple onto them. Anything yellow and red is going to pretty much kill the blob. So the electricity is generally yellow, and any kind of high heat source or hot heat source is red. So actually we can just demonstrate that real fast. If I jump into there, I get killed. Alright, so let's restart real fast. So if I jump up here, what you might initially see is the lava rises, and it's going to continue to rise as I go up through each of these floors, and you'll see which. I'm gonna die. But you'll see actually which floor I'm on up here, and how fast the lava is. So basically, I have it programmed where every 5 floors the speed's going to increase, and it's always just a race against the lava. But let's go back to our main menu. Let's just do practice. Now there's no lava in practice mode, but it doesn't actually save your high score either. So it's just as much time as you want to learn these levels in the concepts form. Actually, the floor above me is something I want to explain later, so I'm just going to die and reload. So all these levels are pre-built and predefined, but the order you get each level on every new playthrough is different. So now I have these little mines. So I guess I'll explain just some of the game concepts or mechanics of other objects. So I basically have these mines here. So if you touch them, they get primed, and after 2 seconds, they blow up. And then let's keep on going through each of these floors. All right, and then so we have stuff like our wall trap, and it primes, kills me. If I jump into it, we have a red bouncy blob. If I jump into that, it'll kill me. Oop. Actually, I wanted to live there, because that was another concept I wanted to explain. All right. We have our little cannons. So anything kind of purplish will actually represent some kind of movement system. So with like these little cannons here, these purple tell me the direction I'm being shot in. And what you also might notice in each of these levels, there's going to be this kind of clock just kind of floating around. And basically the blue ones will stop the lava for 6 seconds and the green ones for 3 seconds. And the idea is you can always take an alternative route in a lot of these floors, and you can save a lot of time, but it's generally a harder route to take. So actually, yeah, I'll explain the fans later. All right, so I guess I'll explain the bouncy blob now. So whenever I enter these kind of purple fields, I turn into a purple bouncy blob. And basically what this does is it freezes gravity, and if I swipe it, I can swipe in any direction, and my blob will just float there. If I hit a surface, I'm just going to bounce off it now. And if I tap, it's just going to stop me in place. And then I can also just use stone form to drop down, but I'm a little bit slower in stone. It also makes me invincible to anything yellow or basically electric. The idea is the blob is rubber or insulated in some kind of way. Oop, don't want to die from that. All right. But red things will still kill me. And then, all right, so we just jump through there. Well, I should have kept going. It actually launches me up to the next platform. And then once I get into these green fields, it changes me back to the normal blob. So we got our saws, which will obviously kill me. I can also just get pushed while in stone form. Which causes some interesting gameplay concepts because it might be easier just to be pushed by the saw. Alright, so we have their fans, which are, push me in the direction it's flowing, and then I can use stone to drop out, and then I can also just use grappling hook to grapple through the tiny object. Alright, and I have a lot of these dark rooms. This is the only one that's really dark, where the whole idea is just to look at the background to see general direction. You can actually barely see these platforms if you look close enough. Alright, and then I have our little teleporters. This is somewhat of a bad example. I should change these. But basically these teleporters will, teleport you in the direction of. So this orange one has an orange endpoint over here. So that's where it basically tells me. And this is a good example of where the saws, it's just easier to get to this level if you just have the saws push you. Alright, so I'm in the next area. Alright, so this, I don't want the video to drag on too much, so let's just quickly go to this main menu. So just a quick thing with the main menu. I always love it when the games just have some kind of little interactive thing within the main menu, so I'm going to try to put that in every single game I have. So I guess this is the little prison the blob is initially in. So from here I can see my high score, I can clear it too, I can turn the sound on and off. And then I can also, you might see this Blobtastic down here. If I click it, it's going to turn to purple, and now I'm a bouncy blob. And if I go back into the game, I'm actually bouncy the entire time. This is actually initially just a dub testing tool I used, and then I actually had just so much fun with it that I just included it in the main game. It's just a fun little thing, diversion. Because it surprisingly added a whole different dimension to all these levels, and it worked surprisingly well while I only had to really change one level around in order to make the bouncy blob to go through there. And then if I actually go through a green field, it will not change me back. This also doesn't save your high score if you go through the normal play mode. Anyways, so I think I'm just going to head back to the main menu. Let's turn the blob back to normal. And I'm probably just going to turn the audio up and just play the game for the next minute or two, and leave a link to my website and my email address. Again, please leave any feedback you can give me, and just enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for watching.